here we are. I don't know. We used to do episode numbers, but then we were like, this might go out a different time.
Forget what episode number it is.
Yeah.
Travel.
Yeah. Here we are, the great Irish comic, Danny O'Brien.
How are you, lads?
How are you, man?
Good to see us.
We're gonna do a little swap straight off the bat.
Yeah, we're doing a little merch exchange.
Yeah.
Let me go.
I feel like
go first?
it's like a mob meeting, isn't it? Like, you gotta put it.
Who goes first?
This is. When I say this is limited edition, it's because I've nearly ran out of them. I'm at the end of the tour. So this might look like something a little bit bold, right? So it says Kilimanjaro, which is the name of my current tour show. But if you open it up, it's... looks like an 8 ball, lads. It's not an 8 ball. It's a full head to toe poncho.
Full.
So if you get caught in the rain, or you're at a festival, or your car breaks down, you have to get the bus. So
That's
there's one each.
unreal.
That's class.
When you use the poncho, I couldn't even imagine what you could put in there after that, lads. You'll have to leave
we
that
have
up to
two
you.
because it's time to have to share them. Can we put it on now?
No sharing.
That is class. Can we
Don't waste it, because they didn't end up getting saturated one day going, I wish we didn't put that on in the podcast
That is
studio.
class.
That is bleeding deadly, man.
That's
That is
a
I
great-
think it's
unreal.
the best merch I've had so far over the last 10 years or
That
whatever.
is fucking great.
Better than a badge or a sticker.
Yeah,
like.
I
that's
thought
fucking brilliant.
when comedians say merch, it's usually a little shitty sticker.
Yeah,
This is fucking deadly.
I like a shitty mug. I see some
I've
people.
gone bankrupt, lads. Those balls bankrupt.
But here you're keeping
This
everyone
is for
dry.
you.
Yeah, exactly. And deadly.
We watched it.
I like that my cup also has a poncho.
Yeah.
I just put little couple of eyeballs in it.
It's on brand.
Deadly.
It's on brand.
That's class, man.
That is unreal. Thanks very much.
No stress.
For a quick second there, I thought he's giving us a Christmas bubble for the Christmas tree.
Yeah, well, it can be that as well.
I thought it was a
you go.
gag ball.
It can be whatever you want it to be.
For the next hour.
Gag ball under the Christmas tree. Ruin everyone's Christmas.
What a thing, what forward?
Oh, Joey, you forgot my safety word.
Does it have your Kilimanjaro on the poncho as well?
Yeah. No. That's next level.
Next level. Yeah.
Those kids in China need a break, man. I can't be. Tell you what you do, lads. Get a biro. You write Kilimanjaro
Yeah,
on
there
every
you
one of them
go. There you
ponchos.
go.
Then wrap them up and put them in the ball.
That is brilliant, man. That is. How many did you get them?
Oh, like thousands.
Did you?
Yeah.
Jeez, and they all sold out.
They're all gone. Yeah, I have a handful left in the booth for emergencies. There you go, lads.
I was wondering why you were taking it out of the car. I thought it might have been like a stress ball or something like that.
That's next year's show is called Adulting Hard, and you know what? A stress ball is perfect because I don't think it's ever been a worse time to be an adult than right now.
Right now, yeah.
Definitely not. Jesus
definitely.
Christ.
I'm still a child.
They were fake adults. Yeah, we're only.
Hang on to that, lads, as long as you can.
Yeah.
Don't move out. Don't talk about mortgages. Don't do any of the shit that everyone tells you to do. It's a nightmare.
He actually just moved out and then just moved back with his parents now.
Amazing.
And now getting a
deadly.
mortgage.
Just
Surprise,
broke up.
surprise. You're just edging your parents that like moving out. Just as they're about to kick back and have the crack, like, thank God.
Yeah,
all the work you're doing. Guess who's back, bitches?
And now I do comedy on the podcast.
Oh, deadly.
He's the nanny that rings.
Yeah.
It's class. It's deadly.
Well, yeah.
I am the danger.
That's fucking class. I never moved out. You feel on yours.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
still living at
He
home.
never admits that. He thinks because he lives in a granny flat out the back garden.
Yeah.
He always says that he doesn't live with his ma. He lives by himself.
Yeah, he's detached.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have my own separate door.
My man lives with me.
That's yeah. I live in the
I
front.
gave her the big house because I'm sound. And I'm just going to live here.
I charge a few bob at the end of the month
That's
and
just
everything.
Constantly watching until they die. Going, come on. Soon you'll be mine.
Man, I don't mind them.
They're holding up bits of wallpaper and all, like in front of them. Can't wait to redecorate this room. Just give me my gaming layer.
He's giving some sadistic
Yeah, I
thoughts.
know,
here. You're
yeah,
going to
yeah.
actually
Man, do you
believe
think
this.
we'd be able that ceiling would hold a stripper pole, hypothetically? Is that structurally sound?
For me.
For me, I've always wanted to get into it.
Oh,
So I'm
Jesus
doing it.
Christ, lads.
Great for your
Fucking
core.
hell.
Yeah.
Oh, sweating now.
Yeah,
so you have
same.
your next year's show planned already, do you?
I have a plan. I definitely don't have it written.
Right.
So that'll go to the Fringe. I'm starting to do work in progresses in around July. So I'm doing a few in Dublin and a few in London, a few in Scotland as well. And then it'll go to the Fringe for the 1st of August.
Right.
But I'm still touring this one at the moment. Like, I have to film this one next month in June. And then I've got a few extra autumn dates with it as well.
Yeah.
But basically, the last kind of big one I want to do is the one that I'm filming in Whelan's in June. And I just love it. the show only becomes really enjoyable towards the end of the tour. Do you get what I mean? Like you're not. This is a long one as well. It's about a 90-minute show.
Is it?
Instead of an hour, and so I've been splitting it up into like 2 45 minutes. But it's been deadly, and I've got a really good act from Cork coming up to do it with me and a few surprises. So the Whelan's one is going to be a bit unhinged. It's going to be like nothing I've done before.
That's quality.
Yeah.
See, when you say there, I think I've heard you say before that, like, when you started off that Kilimanjaro in Edinburgh last year, it was going. But basically very different to how it finished then.
Massively.
Like,
you go in, like, that's why I think the Fringe, people always moan about the Fringe and they're like, it's expensive, and it is. It's a nightmare. Like, getting accommodation is a disaster. I got scammed with fake accommodation. So that's why I started writing this show, which made things even more difficult. Do you know what I mean? Then we had to get like last minute accommodation. We ended up having to stay in these like student 6x4 prison cells for the whole run of the Fringe. And then you're doing 3 shows a day, because I do 2 other shows as well as the solo. So you go in with a kind of semi-formed show, and even if you've written loads of stuff in Dublin and you think this is going to be great, you get to Edinburgh, it all changes.
You're adding little bits to it here and
half
there.
It just doesn't work. Like half it, you're like, this is shite. Why were they laughing at Dublin? Like, it's a different audience, different dynamic, and then you just do it like every single day for 25 days in a row, 26 days even, and then you come out with something that's nice and polished, and then you tour it. But then by the time the tour finishes, you've actually got something savage that you're actually really enjoying, and you're adding bits and you're having a bit of crack and you're swapping bits around to make them work, and it's enjoyable then.
That's what I was going to ask you. How are you touring a whole 90-minute show and have the time to rewrite stuff? How do you not?
You're just doing it bit by bit. I bought a whiteboard, and to anyone who's getting into comedy or any kind of writing, or even if you're a musician, a 20 quid whiteboard, get it in IKEA, stick it up on your wall, right? Stick it up in the gaff out the back of your ma's, wherever, right?
Beside the stripper pole, is it?
Literally, yeah. You can hang off the stripper pole when you're writing your jokes.
Sometimes there's good reflection on it.
And then, like, it's mad, because usually when you're like in the shower, or when you wake up in the morning and you kind of think of something, and I have about 2,000 notes on my phone. I'm always writing down, but it's mental. I don't know what half of those things even mean. I'm always writing stuff in there. So I think a whiteboard is great, because you'll write down an idea, and then if it stays there, you're looking at it every day, even if it's subconsciously, and then hopefully over the months you'll kind of have put those ideas into a structure. Do you get what I mean? That works for me. And another great thing is get post-it notes, and if you've worked on a 5-minute bit of material that works, write down the name of the material. The material could be whatever, cups of tea. You stick that up there and you go, that bit works, that's solid. Then you kind of rearrange that in order. So you might put cups of tea at the start of the show, might link into something else, and it's a good way, because you're moving little post-its around then, and that gives you a bit of a show structure. Do you know what I mean? So
you do that with all your bits, like, as in, one might be 5, one might be 10.
And then I just have them all down, and then when you're writing a new show every year, half them don't work for the show that year, but then you can try them out in the club, and some of them don't work at all, and you just fuck them in the bin and pretend you never wrote them down.
That must be hard, like, to be out, like, because I know if I was doing a show now, I'd be like, oh, that's a fucking great joke. Even if you've written it for your next show, you might want to use it in this one.
And it's brilliant, because the great thing is, when you finish doing your tour show, out of the hour in this year, 90 minutes, you can take a good 20 minutes of really good bits that you can use for clubs, and then they'll rip it apart in the clubs then, and then you're diversifying your set in the club then as well. You're not just doing the same 20 for years. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
That's mad though, when you were doing that. See the way you're doing this show now, and you're getting ready for Edinburgh with a new show.
Yeah, it's like being a functioning schizophrenic.
Yeah, because you're obviously going up, like, like set you're running on, and then you're doing your new. Do you ever get up there and your new ideas start coming out?
Yeah,
you
might try the odd little bit, but if it doesn't fit with the show, like, the work in progresses are the worst part of your year. It's like the leaving cert all over again. Like, you're just sitting there having a meltdown, and you're like, oh my god. I usually do them with another comic, Aideen McQueen. She's deadly. And
had Aideen in here.
Yeah, I watch Aideen and she watches me, and like, it's weird. Like, it's like a driving test. Like, we're watching each other taking notes, so that she'll go, that worked, that was great, you should do more on that bit, blah blah blah. So then you've got another perspective on how things work. And I do a few meetings with other comics where we meet up. Sometimes just saying something out loud is brilliant. Do you get what I mean? Just actually saying it. It's all great to have an idea in your head, but you actually have to just say it to someone else.
Then you can
Yeah.
Like, pick it apart.
Well,
like.
better to say it to your mate and say, do you think this will work? Instead of going up and saying it in a comedy club, it's just crickets.
Yeah.
You're like, probably should have said that out loud.
Get arrested.
I'm not just sitting on this and I have a spot on my arse. It's fucking had to kill
It's a
me.
back massage as well. I told you it could be anything.
Does it all. Does it all. Do you have many comics that you do that with?
Yeah, a few of us. So myself, Jer Staunton, I have another mate of mine, Stu Mitchell, he's a good pal of mine. Another friend of mine, Elena Gabrielle. I have a little festival called Big Night Outs. We did 6 countries, in 6 countries and 6 nights. So we did one run of shows in the Baltics, and then we did Bratislava, Vienna, and Budapest. So it's country with a Big Night Out festival. But when we're doing those shows together, we're taking a break from our current tour, so it's like a bit of respite for the two of us, just to be like, let's just give the tour a weekend off and do something different. But then we'll be trying out bits of material in different countries, and then I'll watch her set and she's like, that's deadly, use that, try that. So that's a good way of generating material as well, you know.
6 nights in 6 countries, that's mad.
Yeah,
man.
it's been mad. I think this year I've done 10 countries already this year.
Fucking hell.
So that's why I loved like just taking a bit of a break. It's not even the gigging isn't the hard bit, it's the travel is the killer.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's all the Ryanairs. I got pneumonia there about 3 weeks ago. I was absolutely banjaxed
From the plane.
from everything, like, and I don't know, I went to my GP and I was like, I'm wrecked all the time. And she's like, because my lung was hurting me. She's like, you got pneumonia, Danny.
Jesus
And I didn't even know because I was just so busy all the time.
Yeah.
But I
didn't know.
You just think
I'd
of
no
run
clue.
down like.
I was like, why am I so knackered? And she's like, your body's trying to fight
Water in
pneumonia.
is that what pneumonia is water in your lungs?
Yeah, my lung was just because I was coughing a bit, but it wasn't that bad. So I was like, I must be just tired. But yeah, I had pneumonia. I had to get antibiotics, but I was still on tour. I couldn't cancel it, and I just kind of got on with it. But like, stress is definitely something that's going to kill me, and it's something that I try to work on, taking time out. And it's mags, like, I'm trying to buy a gaff. I'm self-employed. I have a business. I have a comedy club in the city. I do workshops, voiceover, we do podcasts. You're doing everything you can. But like, you can't turn work down either, because we're living in this mental time right now where you have to generate as much as possible, because you never know when another recession, which looks like it's kind of imminent, or there could be another virus. You know, we don't know.
So you're also feeling stressed. Danny's gonna have stress balls as merch for his next show.
Yeah, but like, I think taking time out is so important, and I'm really doing my best to try not be working all the time, because like, there's plenty of busy people in the graveyard. Do you get what I mean? Like, so it can't all be about the hustle. You need to be enjoying your life as well. And even with comedy, like, as much as I love comedy, like, having the crack with your mates and stuff is so much more important than gigging all the time. And it helps you to generate ideas and have a laugh and stuff as well, you know.
You need a break. Will most of your stress come from that, just walking yourself off your feet? Like? I
work myself, and it all looks grand on paper, right? You look at your diary and you go, right, I'm in London this week, I'm in Liverpool next week, I'm back, I get back Sunday, I'm doing a club gig, that'll be all right, I'm gigging in Dublin. And you start going, oh yeah, it all looks fine. But then the reality of it is, you're up at like 6:30 in the morning, you're flying back from Switzerland, you're having a shower, then you're into your club in town, then you're up the next morning, you might be doing radio, you're trying to go to the gym in between, then you've got new material.
You got to put up the stripper pole. You got
the stripper pole. Then it gets to Wednesday, you're like, bollocks, I forgot to book my car in to the car park in the airport. Now I got to pay like an extra £100 to go park in the blue one in Kildare. Do you know what I mean? The biggest scam. Do you know what? I booked parking yesterday for this weekend, and it was the exact same amount of money to drive myself to the airport, park in the red car park, than it is to get a taxi there and back. What the fuck is going on?
Madness.
Fucked, isn't it?
I actually like that though. I'd rather the parking. Just a lot easier. You just go get your car. Go get the bus, get your car.
Even when you're giving someone 40 quid for 18 minutes, which is, let's be honest, like
mental
escort rates.
Yeah. And I once gave 100 for 5 minutes.
More on Benidorm later. But I don't like, it's bad enough you're paying that, but then they're giving you attitude as well. You want to go to a tunnel, I'm like, yeah, I do. For 40 quid, I want to go to a fucking tunnel, you miserable prick. And then if you tell them you do comedy, they'll just tell you like 15 of the most racist things that's ever come out of anyone's mouth, followed by, you can use that. And I'm like, oh yeah, deadly. Like, I can't wait to time travel to the 70s to do all those horrible jokes you've just told me.
Most will be risky in the 70s as well.
Or I love as well, they're just giving you life advice, like Dave made it, and you're just some sham, like, you know what I mean? Stick with me, kid, you'll go far.
Yeah, taxi man or not.
That's why I give Ubers 5 stars all the the time because they say nothing.
Quiet.
Like silence is
Yeah.
peace. It's just amazing. Like
You can do that in America, in New York. When I was over there, you can press a button on the app where they don't talk to you.
Yeah.
It's
Really,
literally
yeah?
don't. Do you want to be spoken to? And there's a button no.
Perfect.
So they won't say anything to you.
I need that for my life.
Yeah.
Just like around me at all times, like Tesco, like any gym, everything.
Yeah.
Sorry, lads, on silent. Sorry, I'm on mute, lads. Sorry.
It is handy though, isn't it? Like,
I like a taxi man talking.
Yeah, I said,
to be
oh,
honest.
so-
Sometimes it's a bit of crack.
Yeah.
But when you've just come off a Scally Ryanair and you've been travelling and you've been
Yeah.
doing gigs every night and you're just last thing you want is just like, as a bleeding lucky I'm here, and you're like, oh, here we go, right? Thanks for doing me a favour.
You're
Right?
not going to
It's
ask
just-
me, am I busy tonight?
My mate used to say years ago, he used to live in Swords. And like, you know yourself, like there's no transport anywhere really.
Yeah.
Like you're either waiting an hour for an air coach or you have to get a taxi. Like that's our only options. My mate got into a taxi, and as soon as he said Swords, by the way, it's still about 20 quid to Swords, even though it's only like
Is it?
10
Yeah.
minutes. Yeah. And I've got a taxi from Swords. I've left my car at my mate's before, and we had to get a taxi to the airport, and it was like 22 quid. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Robbers.
But he got out, and as soon as he said Swords, your man goes, and he's like, fuck's sake. But literally, and my mate's like, fuck off. So he pulls up to the gaff, and as my mate's getting out, he goes, just to let you know, you're after ruining me day. Imagine paying someone to do their job, and then afterwards he's like, you're after ruining me day. Like what? Even a drug dealer wouldn't say that. Like you pay a drug dealer what, like 2 20s and a 10 instead of a 50, just to let you know, bro, you're after ruining me day. 50s are revenue only, yeah.
oh, fucking hell, man.
You spent too much time in London.
You sound like someone, man. I can't stop thinking about it. I don't know who it is though, but you sound like someone.
We'll throw it into ChatGPT and see what comes up.
Yeah. I don't know who it is.
I'm a kind of a Dublin Wicklow hybrid, so I don't know,
it is
to
a
be honest.
hybrid. I don't know.
I don't know who.
I don't know.
I'm not getting that at all.
I'm getting someone's voice off.
I
It'll
did a
come to me.
voiceover recently.
Of what?
For a clothes company that I can't say for legal reasons, but it rhymes with minted.
Minted. Any more hints? Minted.
It rhymes with minted.
No, my man gets mint velvet. I was going to say.
Carl, you with this?
Minted.
Minted, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Vinted.
Minted.
I can't say, but yeah, I
What,
did the
is
voice.
it bad?
I did a voiceover for them, so you might have heard that.
And bad experience.
No, all good, but that might be where you heard the voice,
And why can't you say?
because you're not meant to tell people that you're doing like.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But you can't talk about them like we've done a voiceover for someone. Just do a voiceover.
Yeah. I
I'm
can't.
not going to put it on a poster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Voice of. Hey, do you remember that 30-second ad you heard when you were trying to listen to your podcast? That was me.
I fucking. Do you know? It could be Senan.
Well,
Maybe
Mackalorum.
Senan. Yeah, I think I'm getting a bit of him off you.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm not
He's not from
getting
Wicklow,
that.
is he?
I'm not getting that.
No, I don't know what I'm getting. I just when you were talking there, I was seeing you.
You
seeing
remind
someone
me of a clairvoyant.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
yeah.
I'm getting a bit of Wicklow. Is your father begins with a P? We're going to go with a P.
else. Fucking hell.
You're originally from Wicklow, but then
I grew up down there, yeah. So I haven't lived in Wicklow since I was about 17. But I went to secondary school in it was called Avondale Community College, which is a really nice way of saying a tech. That's how they say tech in the country. They try and make it sound like it's all posh. But I call it a community college. But I went to the tech in Rathrum, and it was mad. Like I just went to it's weird because everyone always says, when we were younger, it's like, oh, you know, Dublin's rough, Dublin's this, Dublin's that. And then when I was 18, I was going to college. And when I started living up in Dublin City, I saw more violence and chaos in my teenage years. Like, we used to have 2-3 ambulances outside our local nightclub because there was only one nightclub.
And they'd be killing
for
each other,
the
like.
murder. Because
Yeah.
you have all these like lads who play GA together, and like it was a very working class. Like the only posh part of Wicklow when I was growing up was Greystones.
Yeah.
Like Bray was like, I cannot describe how rough Bray was 20 years ago. Like it was brutal. Like Bray at one stage had more addicts per capita than anywhere else in the country.
Fuck off.
So you've all these like little towns all around Wicklow. There was no bypasses or anything like that. So, and then you had all the GAA rivalries, and then you had like the De La Salle and Wicklow Town hated the Tech. You know what I mean? So they
Just
all
two different schools.
Yeah, so they don't, like outside our local nightclub. So you then got loads of lads from different schools who all hate each other through GA, or they might know each other from being related or whatever. And they used to be murder. Like there was 100% chance of fight every single night. Women used to kill each other. I remember there was a girl.
I pay big money for that.
Already, yeah.
They were like proper, like vicious baiting each other. Like Wicklow women are hard as nails.
And so am I right now.
I always wonder who subscribes to those OnlyFans. Now we know. The Foxy Boxing fan over here. But I remember there was two of them, like straight. It was like two alligators. Like they were locked onto each other. And they were holding onto each other's hair and simultaneously booting each other at the same time.
Jesus.
And my mate was actually bringing one of them to the depths with him. And I remember we were outside. He's eating a cheeseburger. We're hammered after the local nightclub, and he just goes, "I'm not bringing her to the depths."
Yeah.
And he did, because he know other options. Like
He just looked
she's there
at
with a black eye. Like everyone thinks it was something to do with him. It's nothing to do with him. Like,
He looked at her. You're after ruining my night.
just to let you know, you're after ruining me evening. You're after ruining me cheeseburger.
That's so country as well,
Here's
isn't
your
it?
hair.
That's so country, like the local gag clubs, like
Yeah.
how country can you get?
Country's wild though, like, and it's weird as well, like, because the lads who kind of would get into scraps and then it would be over. Like, there's one thing about the country, it's that it's just over then. Do you know what I mean? The lads be having points the next week. People don't hang on to stuff, I think, in the country. And I was lucky I grew up and there was no social media growing up, and that's something that I am forever grateful for. Like, I do loads of workshops in schools, and like I've done them loads of youth projects and stuff like that. I'd hate to be a teenager right now. Yeah. Genuinely,
just
like,
because it stays on the internet
social
and stuff.
media stuff and the bullying and like I get comments on TikToks that have gone viral, like horrible stuff. Like I did one about McGregor, and it was the most, like, I just said we were embarrassed when he was over there with his jaw on the other side of his face when he's all like G'd up in the White House, and I just said, like, Ireland collectively cringed. I don't know how you could look at that and go, yeah, that makes me proud. Do you know what I mean? And like,
people giving you death.
Oh man, I still got one. I got like 2 or 3. I don't even know if they're bots, like, but just I mean thousands of comments going, fuck you, you fucking lefty. It's always like Irish patriot 1916. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you fucking left woke, you posh prick. And I'm there going, you don't know anything about me. And I'm like, why do you think, like, what's your angle here? Why are you so upset about that? Like, of all the things to say about someone like that, I think it's pretty mild, lads. You know what I mean? But it's mental how the internet reacts to things.
It's a wild place, man.
Man, TikTok is a fucking horrible platform for that. It's just, I don't know who all these people are just waiting around. It's just,
that's mad. How do you have the time?
It's phenomenal. The hate is phenomenal. It's like, if you're leaving TikToks on TikTok comments and calling people like loads of shit and hating on them that hard, how sad is your life, man? That is a grim existence.
Yeah, it's
terrible. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes I do think I might get into it because there's be some funny ones now.
There is some
you can practice your comedy in the
I've written a few things back, and it's got, like, you know, hundreds of likes, and you get that dopamine hit and you're like, yeah, fuck you. But I think ultimately you're losing as well by feeding it, because like the thing the nothing that annoys people more than just saying nothing, or like or putting up another video, or just, I always heart, or I send them a little a little shush emoji or a little kiss. Kiss freaks lads out as well. I always go, thanks mate, kiss, and they're like, they don't know what to do then. It's amazing.
We'll have to try that one. Now sometimes I do think, and we actually just leave a few comments on other people's stuff.
But then you're 2 hours deep then, and it's bothering you and stuff, and it's like, I would advise, like, you know, I'm older than you lads, and I just go, like, it's just, even if you do feel a little bit better in the long run, it's just going to make you feel worse. It's like drugs, like, you know what I mean? It's
true. I wouldn't know, I've never done drugs, but
yeah, me neither.
Is that what made you start doing the stuff in the schools and stuff? Did you feel like
drugs?
Do you know what we want on this bus? Going to a school.
I just had this epiphany on magic mushrooms, so I was rambling around the hills of Wicklow going, gotta teach kids there's a better way of life. No, I used to be a youth worker. I used to work in different youth projects around, like, Dundrum, kind of up the back of Sandyford, Finglas.
The nicest areas. Fox Rock.
I wish. No, there's no Fox Rock Youth Services. I'll tell you that.
This poor kid, his daddy was only on 100 grand.
I was absolutely mortified for him. Like, I can't believe he was even able to go to school. But it's mad, like, because everyone thinks Dundrum is Dundrum shopping centre and, like, you know, loads of money, and then you go literally 5 minutes up the road. There's an estate up there called Kilcross, and there's some serious social problems up there that would match anywhere, like, you know, like Finglas or anything like that.
Really?
Wild, yeah. Wild. Like back even in the 90s, I had friends who were other youth workers. They would call the guards and say there's something going on in the estate. The guards would go into the estate and there's only one entrance, one exit, and they would put 2 robbed cars together across the exit of the thing, set them both on fire, and then start throwing bricks at the guards. Like proper Wild West.
That is mental.
This is the, you know, 20 years before Dundrum Shopping Centre even existed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, and even like Nutgrove and stuff, like everyone thinks now, oh yeah, they're posh, but like Ireland's only really had money since like the late 90s, early 2000s. You know what I mean? Like we were a poor country.
Oh yeah.
Only around Italia 90, you know, we had a bit of a population surge because like Ireland got into the World Cup and we went mad. But up until then, like Ireland was a very kind of poor working class, and even the rich, compared to modern day standards of what wealth is, I think Ireland was a fairly poor country. And it's weird to me. I struggle a lot with Ireland because I love Ireland and I'm proud of being from Ireland, but like our country has made it so hard for Irish people to live on every end of the scale. Do you know what I mean? And like if you're in the middle, if you're really wealthy, you're all right. If you're anything below that, you're not, right? If you're in the middle and you've got kids and you're trying to buy a gaff, it's nearly impossible. You know what I mean? I don't have kids. I've been trying to buy a gaff for the last 2 years, and all I do is work 7 days a week. I've never had any debt. And I'm still like, it's honestly nearly impossible. I've probably got a 1% chance of doing it, and I'm like, I said it to my accountant. I'm like, if I can't do this, how can anyone do it? Yeah. Do you get what I mean? If I had dependents and I wasn't able to travel abroad for gigs, do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I work my arse off outside of Ireland as much as I work in Ireland, and even that's not enough. Like, you know what I mean? And every time you like this is where we're at right now. Like, I looked at a gaff down the road and it was like, honestly, twice the size of the studio, lads. It was little 42 square metre, one bedroom. It was tiny. It was the size of 2 disabled car spaces. Do you get what I mean? The ground space of it, like, and it was bollocks. Like, you would have had to like put at least 100 grand into making it livable, right? Yeah. But it was in Ringsend. I was like, I just rang them up and I said, here, what's the crack? Like, you doing a viewing? And this was like on a Tuesday. And she said, yeah, there's a viewing tomorrow. Now, this popped up on my screen, right? So I, like, literally, it popped up in front of my eyes. So I rang them within less than a minute of this property being advertised. And I said, how you doing? Can I apply to go view this? And she goes, there's a viewing tomorrow. No, it shows in Prague, and I couldn't go. And I said, no worries. If there's more viewings, will you just let me know? And I swear to God, this woman from the estate agent goes, just to let you know, Mr. O'Brien, there's already been an offer.
Jeez.
And I said, in the last minute. So it hadn't been viewed yet, right? So it's just gone. And she said, and the offer is 90 grand above asking. So in the 1 minute between that property popping up, that's what you're. But you're not like you're. Not only are they forcing us all to compete against each other, like you saw what happened in Clondalkin a couple of days ago. They had like affordable homes. They were £500,000, and people were sleeping in their car. People were sleeping in their cars overnight. That's not a fucking first world country. No, like the pressure that's putting on people, and the problem is not only are all the Irish people competing with each other, you're competing with like Dutch pension funds. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? So that person putting in an offer for another 100 grand, that's someone working for like a finance company who has like literally hundreds of millions, and the government is just letting all of them do this. And the easiest thing for people to do with all of this bollocks is blame immigrants. Do you get what I mean? And the government wants it that way because it's the easiest way for them to go, that means we don't have to do it, and let them keep having protests and riots. And it's the governments and the fucking banks that need to be held accountable. Yeah. That's it. They've been screwing us for the last 15 years relentlessly, you know?
Oh, this thing fries my brain. My brain shuts off as soon because it stresses me out too much.
I totally get it.
It stresses me out way too much. But it's true though.
I'm genuinely, lads, I'm just going, do you know what? Fuck this. I might just keep working for a few more years and just buy something abroad outright.
Would you?
That's where I'm at. Yeah. And like, I don't know, mate. Like, personally, didn't really want to have kids or work. I've loads of kids in my family. I do loads of school workshops. I'm kind of grand in that respect. But if I did, I don't even know how I'd even begin to do that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? What would you do?
Nuts.
Rent? And then, like, childcare is like, if you have 2 kids, is a couple of grand a month.
Yeah, it's
So
crazy.
if you've kids and you have childcare, and say there's 2 of you working, your outgoings are about 5 grand a month before you've even done anything. So how is anyone meant to save anywhere?
That's
it's
madness.
Mental.
It's disgusting.
When you look at it like that, and like, you know, I was in Switzerland doing shows last week, and it's mad expensive there. Like, it's horrific. Like, I got 3 drinks and it was €41. I nearly had a stroke. But their wages are really high. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
wages,
Yeah.
they're more expensive than us, but the wages and like, you can buy, and like their healthcare and stuff is really good. See, I don't mind paying tax on stuff if you're getting something, but like, I take nothing from the state. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
Zero, ever.
yeah.
If I go to the doctor, I pay for it. I pay my VAT every 2 months because of a limited company. I pay my income tax every year. Pay your car tax. You buy a pint, you pay your tax on that. You get your food. All we do is pay tax on everything, and we don't get anything back.
We were talking to someone about that
This
the
gets me
weekend.
angry.
Remember?
Who was
We were
this?
talking to Paddy, and he was talking about his mate in
Oh,
Germany.
yeah.
And he took, like, was it like 2 weeks off work for something?
Yeah.
And they'd pay for it. And he was like, well, obviously, the government are going to put... No, the government paying for his rent while he was out of work or something like
He
that.
was in college, and when he came out of
Something,
college, he didn't go straight into work. And the apartment he was in, the government covered his apartment while he was looking for work. Straight
It's
out of
amazing.
college.
I'll tell you one of the best things, one of the funniest things I've heard of a mate of mine. I won't name him, but he's from Tala, and he in Switzerland, right? If you lose your job in Switzerland, it doesn't actually come out of like the government taxes. It's by the insurance. Now, I think your insurance is mandatory, and it's whatever. I think it could be like 600 quid a month, and that's for everyone, right?
Yeah.
However, if you lose your job, so you don't have to take a worse job than the one you have, they will give you up to 2 years, and they'll pay you 80% of your salary.
Shit.
Right?
Find a
To
same job or better.
same job or better, right? Now, most people from Switzerland, because they're obsessed with following the rules, it's
And
the
cheese.
exact same as Ireland. Cheese, the rules, and chocolate. That's their buzz, right? They wouldn't like take the piss, right? But my mate is from Tala, and he's like, hang on a sec, right? You're telling me that I'll get 80% of my salary for not working for up to 2 years, and it's called chômage. He had the best years of his life, man. He's going to strip clubs. He's like, yeah! He's like living 80% of your salary. Like, he's getting like over 100k
That's
on the
life.
scratcher, basically.
Oh,
like,
That's
man.
like a
Imagine.
fucking board game.
It's
I used to play
unbelievable.
Game of Life. That's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
on that. That happens.
If you said to a kid in Tala when he was a baby as well, what do you want to do when you grow up? That would definitely be what they
I
say.
want to move to Switzerland and go on the chômage.
Just go anywhere where I can get paid for 2 years. I just need 2 years. And then
Joe
I'll-
Downham will hear this now when you move to Switzerland next
Oh yeah, that'd
week.
be game over. You'd be learning Swiss German.
Joe's the only man to be Irish, Turkish, and Switzerland.
Switzerland. He's the whole of
I
Switzerland.
couldn't think of what do you call them?
Swiss.
Yeah.
What are you
fuck.
talking about cheese? It's Swiss cheese now. Is that no?
Swiss cheese, they love it. He said the
Yeah,
thing
but-
they love.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you'd be-
chocolate cheese, cuckoos, and
Cuckoos?
hiding Nazi gold as well.
Ah,
That's where all the wealth comes from, by the way.
Is it?
It's a massive tax haven, of course it is.
Yeah.
One of the
that's
biggest
the one they
money
always go to in the movies, isn't it? When like
Yeah.
Wolf of Wall Street, they have
Yeah.
the banks in Switzerland, isn't it?
Yeah. But you don't get that rich as a country without turning a blind eye to where a lot of that money comes from. Look at Panama. Panama is like one of the biggest like laundrettes for money in like South Central America. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like that's but that's how everything works. But like it's mad. Like everything in Switzerland is like immaculate. Like you know what I mean? Like it all looks like a screensaver. But like they're shy crack.
Are they? Yeah.
There's a payoff for everything in this world, lads. That's what I always find out. Like, you go to all these different countries and you're like, oh, I wonder where they live here. You know, they've got like rent is cheap. But then if the rent is cheap, the money for working is shit. Do you get what I mean? It's
Yeah,
all
there's
relative.
always
Like, so
something to
everyone
bring it
always
up or
gives
down.
out about Ireland, and like, you know, it's easy. I give out about Ireland, but for a small country of our size, we are massively punching above our weight. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
globally, like we've got, we've really skilled workers. We've got a really good work ethic for the most part.
Would you point that?
Yeah. But like, you
It's
know,
only half an hour, he knows you well.
for a little island, like I think that we actually do really well. Like you know what I mean?
Of course.
And that's why all the tech companies and stuff. set up here. But then the problem was the tech company set up here, and that drove all the rents up, and that's why Dublin is so fucking expensive to live in. It's nowhere's perfect, but Ireland right now is really hard, and I just hope it gets better for like my little cousins, my nieces and nephews. I hope that we have some kind of you lads. Yeah, like because I'm like,
no, we're fucked.
Yeah, no, you'll be all right, lads. you won't make 30. Don't worry about it. Just go out in a blaze of glory.
Blaze of glory. We could actually dress up as like Halloween. Blaze of glory for Halloween.
Two lads died from trying to smoke weed out of a plastic ball. In a poncho.
Be the best promo you ever get. Was gonna get rid of this tour. He does it for 10 years.
Where would you move to then instead of Ireland?
I don't know. My Spanish is shy, but maybe Spain. I'd jump on the old Duolingo if I had to.
Yeah.
I have a load of mates in Guatemala. I did the first ever English speaking comedy gig in Guatemala ever, as far as I know, and I filmed a show over there a few years ago called The God of All Things Bad, and I love Guatemala. It's just getting there is a nightmare. Like you gotta go to Europe, and then you gotta go to Mexico, and then go from Mexico to Guatemala. But it used to be part of Mexico. It's in Central America. But I have some really good friends there, a couple of Irish lads, and I do a bit of work with a charity there called the Integral Heart Foundation. And it's a third world country with some of the most incredibly sound people I've ever met.
Is it?
Great crack, very similar to Irish people, like particularly like the Mayan Guatemalans. They're just sound, they're just chill about everything. Like no one bothers you. You can sit down at a bar anywhere, chat to anyone. And they open carry there, like they've gun lockers, and it's weird.
Is that the one where they chew the nut? No, that might be Guatemala.
They do cacao as well, yeah. They do all those cacao ceremonies.
There's one where they chew a nut and their teeth go all red and all.
Oh, really?
No, it might be Guatemala then. Can you look that up, Carl? Is it Philippines? No, there's another one beginning with G. You remember Hashtag Brady was just there? Might come back to me.
Red nut. Actually, don't hit image on that.
No, actually, yeah.
Why is my own Snapchat on there?
When you say fucking an open locker, what's that like? They don't actually.
You go into like some like, say there's an area where there's a few like bars together, right? I was like, what's the crack with the lockers? Like, because and my mates like that's for guns. So when you're going in to go have pints, like you basically put your gun in a locker. But it's weird, and the Philippines is like that as well because no one really acts the bollocks. Like if you're really hammered, say like Antigua and Guatemala, if you were like pissed out of your mind, you might get robbed if you were steaming, but they wouldn't kick the head off your end like that. They probably just rob you, and that's if you're like out of it. You know what I mean? If you were just like if you're lying on the street, but because people carry guns, like for the most part, people don't act the bollocks because if you act the bollocks, someone's going to shoot you. So it makes you think twice about it.
Even if they're big or small.
Yeah, it's just like, and I don't know, like I've always been alright, touch wood. I've been in mad situations, like I've been like drinking with cartel heads, and obviously didn't know were cartel heads until after. And I was like, why is everyone moving? Like I was there, were they all so friendly? And then my mate's like, no, it was too late. Me and the lads there taking selfies and all, like, you don't know who you're talking to, and it's like I chat to anyone, and that's the one good thing I love about gigging. Like I've met some mad people after gigs, and if you give them a bit of time, like I was out with two people who worked for the UN after my show in Geneva the other night. Like one of them was Irish and another guy was Welsh, and they were just telling me mad stuff about working in Africa. And he's like, if you ever want to go do some gigs in Nairobi, I know someone there. And it's like, and then there was another guy who was at the gig who was living in Alicante, and he's a comic starting out. And he's like, do you want to come to Alicante and do some gigs? Like in Switzerland, you never know where you're going to meet someone or you'll make a connection. So I think it's really important after gigs. What I would say to anyone doing comedy as well, when I first started, you'd have your little piece of paper with your jokes on it, and you'd just be sweating, reading, going, trying to remember whatever the list is, like a shopping list, you know what I mean? And then I used to always watch the show, like, and watch the headliner, because for me it was like I get to watch a headliner for free. Do you get what I mean? I'm getting to see a headliner, and I don't even have to pay. Like, this is deadly. But now there's a weird thing with a lot of younger comics where they go in, they film their 10-minute set, and then they fuck off, and then they post on Instagrams or whatever, brilliant gig, just had this, and I'm like, you're never gonna learn. you have to learn by watching other people. You'll never get better. Do you know what I mean? And then they're all giving out, and this, that, and the other. And it's, you have to watch others who've been doing it for longer and learn.
Of course.
What are they doing that's different to me? Could I maybe be a bit better? But it reminds me of this lyric in there's a Scroobius Pip, the rapper, has this song, and one of the lines in the song is he's like, "Don't leave your open mark after you've done your shitty little poem or song, you self-righteous prick." And like, that's
very targeted, very specific.
And I remember going, man, that's half of like new comics now. It's all I have to go. Like, I'm not saying you should stay and drink. It's not that, but at least watch the show and absorb a bit of it. You know what I mean?
Of course,
like,
we were actually
definitely a huge part of it.
It is, yeah. We did it, especially at the start. We were like,
recording sets and being so panicked over it. It used to just make so much stress where you're just like, oh, I need to, it's already stressful going up on the stage at the start, but now you're like trying to make sure you press record at the right time, you have the right spot for your camera. You're stressing that you get the right, and then even when you go up, you're just, as you said, you're just rattling off what you have written down.
We always call it the curse of the camera, right? Because sometimes if you're doing a thing for TV or something, and they're like, I did a gig on a cruise ship and I'd never done that before, and they're like, we need you to film this to send over to the management, to the booking manager, and I'm like, and you're like, Jesus Christ, and like, you could say the same bit 10 times and it would kill, and then as soon as you take that camera out, man, just dies on its own, and you're just like, and like, it's weird, like, you never get the bits you want. And I do think there's something in your head subliminally that you're filming, because when you're not filming, you don't care, and you often have unbelievable gigs. But I think it's so important. Have you lads been over to the Edinburgh Fringe yet?
No.
Definitely come over for sure, even if it's only for a couple of days. Like, there's 100,000 plus performers. There's about 7,000 shows a day in a city around the same size as Dublin, a town even, and there's over 3 million people visit it.
Insane.
It's insane. But like,
God.
if you do a month at the Fringe, it's the equivalent of doing like a couple of years of doing open mics and stuff like that. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. How many did you do last year? How many gigs?
I did. I did about. I think I did over 90. I think.
Jesus Christ, man!
I did 109 one year.
109.
I tried to get to 110, and I nearly had a mental breakdown. Like, I started losing the plot, and then I was like, couldn't remember if I'd said things before, because some days you're doing 5, 6, 7 spots, and then you do like a solo. And then I used to host this thing called Spank, which is the longest late night, longest running
in the world.
You're not far off. Someone used to get naked every show.
Really?
It was fucking mental.
Where is this place on?
It's not on anymore, but Jesus, when I think back on that now, we think about like COVID and all that, like madness. Like, people used to be on stage in the nip, so if you did the naked promo, right, you could promote anything. Like, anything, like the gaff out the back of your Maz, your jacket, anything you want to promote, like whether it was a show. Like, one time a fella got up, got completely in the nip and said, what do you want to promote? Sometimes people do it for charity. They would throw loads of money in a bucket, and they're like, I'm raising money for charity, so this is to help whatever. This guy gets in the nip one night and they play all the music and all strips off. The worst part about it is when you're hosting, you have to take the fucker's clothes. So someone's giving you his ball warm fucking jocks, you know what I mean? And you're like, and you're like taking them off. And they said to this fella, what do you want to promote? And he goes, it's my sister's birthday. She was fucking there. And he's there with his fucking flute out, man, and his sister's just there dying.
Your sister, you can just say happy birthday to your sister, Carl. You can just say happy birthday to her.
Yeah, you could just give her a card. You could just send her a WhatsApp.
Yeah, literally.
You don't have to get naked in front of like 250 people. It was horrific.
Some people, where was he from?
England,
yeah. Fuck, that's so disgusting.
He was a headbanger, like.
What part of England?
I think it was up north. He was a lunatic, It's mad though, man. Like, I don't drink that much anymore, but like, I get it. Like, when you're locked, you're just a different animal. Like, you know what I mean? 100%. People you're like, I think this would be funny. Like, me and the lads used to do that. Like, I remember two of my mates got arrested actually in Rathmines. We used to all live in Rathmines together.
Yeah.
And they were just drinking all day and like went on a rollover, and they basically woke up steamed, and they were like, oh, we got a cure point. So then like 2 points after that, they're obviously hammered again. And they ended up like, they were just acting the bollocks in the street, and there was a guard told them to walk that way, in Rathmines, and they just didn't, or they were fucking with some dude on a ladder, right? I don't know what happened, but there was someone on a ladder, and they were just being pricks, and the guard's like, you're dickheads, I'm arresting you. He was right, he had to, they were being wankers. But I remember he put them in a holding cell in Rathmines. One of my mates goes to him They had one of the lads had smokes, right, and the other one had a lighter, but neither had both, right? So they were in this tiny little like Garda station with two little doors opposite each other, and they only had a little hatch so they could kind of see each other.
Yeah.
And one of them was trying to fuck smokes, and it's like lottery odds of getting it through, right?
Yeah.
So one of them's trying to fuck smokes through, so the other one could light it and throw it back to him. So on the ground, there's about 20 smokes, like all like half lit all over the floor, and one of the guards comes out. He's like, "What the fuck are you two dickheads doing?" Right? And then he goes to one of my mate. My mate was a lunatic, and he goes, "If you don't let me out here, I'm gonna hang myself with my jeans."
Jesus Christ.
So then the guards took his jeans off him, so he's just in the cell with a lighter in his jocks. I was just there going, like, that's the kind of mad shit that lads get up to. That's a fucking Tuesday.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just can't stop laughing at that stuff, and then like I think back on that, and I'm just there going, man, how? Like if anyone's like, why do you not drink that much anymore? That's exactly there's a perfect example as to why.
Are you fully sober now? Like, do you not drink at all?
I call it a California sober. So I don't drink. I call it intermittent sobriety. So I go off the drink for I did 100 days off it when I was writing this current show, and then I did it again this year. So I didn't drink from January 1st to April 11th. So that was 100 days, and then I'm just not into it. I have too much things on. I have too many projects I'm doing at the same time, and it's, for me, it was never really about money or anything like that, but it was about the recovery. I'd just be bollocks for days, and you know, I've addiction in my family, and I work, I used to be an addiction counsellor in the homeless and addiction services. I work with prisoners around addiction.
Keeps pointing at me when he's saying,
I think it's a bit like, as well, when you're in deep with all that kind of stuff as well, and when you're in dealing with drunk people as a performer nearly every night of the week, it really fucking puts you off. Do you know what I mean? Like every night I'm walking home and I'm seeing someone just puking in a puddle outside Fly Fit on George's Street or something. Do you know what I mean? Or there's someone you're looking at this every night and you're like, I don't want to be that.
You're around the way too much.
But like, you lads are young, like I think drinking, how do you lads feel about drinking now? I think it's a total different thing to what it was, you know, even 10 years ago.
As in, like, the culture's dying a bit?
It's completely dying. Like, they say 20%, I think it's more.
Not over here, partner.
Oh, really? You're still flying the flag.
I fucking love it.
We'll get you into Ratmoyne's tribute for the police station, yeah. Can't leave, won't leave. Flicking Lost Marys.
Is that what you call her?
Oh, it's Lost Marys because I never found it. But you on about back in the day, like, people go for points after work on a fucking Monday, Tuesday.
And just getting fucking like slaughtered on a Thursday and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's gone, definitely.
It's gone, and like, I think people are kind of picking their battles. People just don't have the money anymore. It's you know, like, going out and stuff, like, it never really mattered. Like, when I was in my 20s, like, you'd be working in a pub and say you were making whatever, like 500 quid a week, your rent was like 100 quid. Do you get what I mean? Your food and stuff was like maybe 50 quid, and you could theoretically, you'd pay for a bit of credit on your phone, like, you know what I mean? That was it, man. Like, that was all our outgoings, and then you could go for points 4 or 5 nights a week if you wanted. Now you can't do that.
Do you know, I never really thought about that. That's probably a prime example why it's gone. Yeah. Because you can't, like.
But like, people can't. Like,
but it's also, everyone's mad healthy and all now.
Yeah.
That is
everyone
a part
wants to be runners and all this.
Like, when I was in Sydney about 16 years ago, I was living there, I was working, backpacking, and I was working on a desalination plant, and I was making deadly money, but I was working 6 days a week. So like, we could only have pints once after. You're up at 5 every morning. Like, you're so fucked. But I remember even then, we had a few nights we went mad, and you'd end up down the beach drinking until like 6 in the morning. And now in Sydney, everyone's up at 5 a.m. down at the beach drinking totally the other way, getting sunrise swims in and doing meditation and paddleboarding and
drinking coffee.
Yeah, literally, there's like queues down the road for flat whites at 4:30 in the morning.
So fucking sad, man.
It's sad.
Yeah, exactly. You need to go over there. You need to.
I'll ruffle a few feathers. Don't worry.
You're just there with a 6-pack of Tuborg. Fucking gad jersey out of your bracket. Come on, lads.
Bring it back.
Where do we get fucking spice? I'm trying to order a spice bag at a coffee shop.
Will you do that now in Edinburgh though? Will you have a few drinks?
No, I don't. I haven't drank for the Fringe for the last couple of years, and no, I drive over. just to put another preventative measure in front of me.
Yeah.
That's the best thing I do to keep myself away from points, that I drive to all my gigs, because zero tolerance now. And like, if I lose my license, you lose your livelihood. It's just not worth it. You can't even have one. But listen, there's like, Edinburgh is a really hectic month. You have 11 months of the year to have the crack. I'm going straight from Edinburgh to Electric Picnic. Then I'm doing a 2-week tour in Newfoundland, which is going to be very, very booze heavy.
I see. You know this place. This place is fucking mad, because I heard you talk about this on.
It's one of the places I'm gigging is called Dildo.
Oh,
these are the lads. Remember I sent you where is it? It's like off America.
So right, if you went from like say Mayo and you went straight across the Atlantic, right, nearly a dead straight line, the first thing you'll hit is Newfoundland. So it's a rock. It looks on a map like a little island, but it's actually 9 times the size of Ireland.
Jeez.
So even driving across like this tiny on the map, it takes about 9 hours. But they're Canadian, but they're not. Like, there's massive Irish diaspora over there. They all play like, their trad music is so similar to ours. They have Irish accents. There's a place called the Irish Loop. Like, it's the most similar to Ireland place I've ever been outside of Ireland. But the lads, I've friends with a few good comics there and a few musicians. But they are wild fuckers, man. Like, you want to be ready. Like, I'm going to have to start drinking as soon as I leave the Fringe just to prepare myself.
Really,
But after every gig, because they're so hospitable, they be bringing you back to these like shed parties, and they can't do enough for you. Like, it's mad. I really would love. I'm trying to set up a bit of a thing with a mate of mine, Brian Alward, as a bit of a cultural exchange, that we bring Newfoundland comics to Ireland, get them to do gigs in like Sligo, Galway, you know, just kind of uncharted territory, maybe out in the Aran Islands, and then we'd bring Irish comics over who would understand them, you know, that have that kind of bit of country energy about them, and we bring them over because they see us as like the motherland. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've never had anyone be sounder and more friendly. My mate Mike Lynch is a massive comic over there, right? He tours all over and he does loads of sketches, right? And he's got a granddad character called Cecil O'Brien, which is obviously right. But it's
which
mad.
is obviously our granddad.
Yeah, exactly. It's his granddad, my granddad, and your granddad. He got around. We definitely have cousins we haven't met yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
But Mike said, do you want to come over to my folks' house for a Jigs dinner? So Jigs dinner is like, it's kind of like a Sunday roast, but it's like Sunday roast mixed with like nearly Thanksgiving. Like, it takes like ages. They prepare loads of stuff. It's like corned beef and like parsley sauce, but there's like the biggest spread you've ever seen. I get to my mate's gaff, his dad's outside in a Waterford hurling jersey, right? With the biggest tricolour. I thought it was like an IRA meeting. I was like, what's going on? He's like, are you here for the voluntary position? This giant tricolour in the middle of St. John's. His old lad's in a Waterford hurling jersey, and as soon as I get there, he just gives me a pint of Guinness. I went in and they had the Wolf Tones playing on fucking YouTube. And I was like, these lads are, oh man, it was some crack.
They have the maddest accent ever. Ever.
Yeah.
Like,
they're all expats, obviously, are they?
No, well, so they're all born and stuff there, but there was, so basically, like around the famine, loads of Irish immigrants were trying to leave, you know, and a load of them ended up in Newfoundland. So they ended up, it's weird, like, because Newfoundland is probably harsher environmentally than Ireland, do you know what I mean? But they went there for a better life. You get somewhere colder, wetter, fucking worse than Ireland. But like a classic Irish kind of immigrant, you know, we just made it work. And like, I find it hard as well, and people are giving out, you know, if they're giving out about immigration, like there's over 40 million people claim Irish heritage, like directly. Do you get what I mean? Mostly in America and stuff. And I'm like, if 40 million people around the world have originally come from this little island, like I find it, you know, surely we owe some fucker a fucking chance to make a living, or, you know, a couch for a few nights. I'm not talking about people abusing the system, but this fucking bullshit rhetoric of, you know, fucking Ireland, we're not full, lads. Like half of Ireland is fucking empty. We've got housing issues. Our government are pricks. That's not the same thing as a country being full. Like, you know what I mean?
I was actually going to say, because we don't know what about politics, right? We just don't, but we give our opinion on shit.
I'm not big on it either.
You know what I mean? Like, people talk about it, especially now in comedy, the amount of people that go up and they're like talking about left wing shit, right wing shit, and we're just two fucking gobshites at the back saying, what the
lads,
fuck?
I'm with you. I don't give a bollocks about any of that. I just want my country. I try and vote for people who make my country better, and I have not voted for the current government in my whole adult life. I didn't choose that, but I have to live it, and so do you.
That's what I was going to ask you. What would, like, this is a bit political now for us to have a clue.
I'm gonna go.
But what do you think does need to change? Because people always say the government, but then
we need to change our mental health policies. We need actual mental health, like like services. We don't have any mental health services. That's why we've got so many homelessness, because our fucking mental health hasn't been fixed. That's why we've got such we've a housing crisis, homelessness. Then so if you don't fix all these things, nothing will ever get better. Do you know what I mean? Like I think at the last count we'd over 15,000 homeless people. Jeez. Like that's fucked, man. We're a rich country. Like that's bollocks. Like you know what I mean? And they're like, oh, well, we can only build certain amount. Because the building legislation as well is so strict, it moves like a fucking iceberg. Look at the fucking children's hospital. The most embarrassing fucking thing. Madness. That's not immigrants' fault. That's fucking the government's fault. Over $1 billion. The thing costs more than the Burj Khalifa. 2 days ago they said, it turns out we won't actually be able to fit equipment in there because it's too big. What, could you not measure the fucking door?
There was a room for this equipment thing and
now it doesn't fit.
So basically they made this room for, let's just say they made this room for a machine. I'm just talking.
Just spit on it now.
Have you tried thumbing it in? Fucking ridiculous. I sure we'll just take the wall out. No one will notice. We'll just leave the X-ray machine outside and we'll do the X-rays in the corridor. Be like security at the airport. No one will know. Sure, they're only kids.
We'll put the MRI in reception. No, basically they said it won't. This room was for this certain machine. Let's say, right, and then they went out to check it out. It doesn't fit.
It's like I often think like it's like a fucking parody. Do you know what I mean? Like every time we watch something and you're just there going, lads, can someone not make a fucking decision? Like, and like no one seems to take responsibility for it, and no one ever thinks. I think when it comes to like politicians in Ireland, no one thinks long term. They think about the 4 years that they're in power. How can I look the best for this, and how can I get the most out of this? Whereas you're not thinking about the next generation or what's going to happen in 10 years and 20 years. And they just do all these fucking bullshit short-term solutions like pay people more. Like, why do you think there's no nurses or fucking teachers or guards? Pay them more. Make it like if you're a guard or a teacher or a nurse, how the fuck are you meant to spend $2,000 a month on rent in Dublin? So what, do you want people to live in Kildare and commute in and out to Dublin and to be a guard in Dublin? Yeah, but like your time, no one's going to do that. So if you're qualified in any shape or form in your 20s and you're like, do you want to deal with this shit show, live with your folks and come in and get paid shy in an expensive country, or do you want to go to Australia? Who the fuck is going to stay in Ireland?
The amount of people we know that went to Australia, it's insane.
One of my mates' younger brothers is in Australia, and out of his course in college, 64 of them are in Sydney.
60
out of his class.
Christ, man.
So say there's 100 people in his class in college, 64 of them are in Sydney.
I wish
this Sydney girl. Where is she?
They all have a tongue in her.
It's not a Bonnie Blue Sydney.
I actually
That'd be a good name for an Australian band, wouldn't it? Bonnie Blue Sydney. It's like a cover band.
Fuck, if he's going to start it.
Yeah.
I'll cover her with nothing, let me tell you.
I'll cover her with apologies.
Oh, fucking
sorry. This normally never happens. I've been practicing in the back, in the gaff out the back and all.
yeah, that's different than this.
I don't even know what we're laughing at. I just think it's funny. I just think it's for some when Danny looks at you and laughs, that really makes you want to laugh.
You have a contagious laugh, man.
It really makes you want to laugh.
I think it could be Seth Rogen, is it? No. Is it Seth Rogen? You sound like. Have you ever got that?
No,
I think I don't know.
It's not Seth Rogen.
Is it not? Are you feeling what I'm saying though?
I don't know.
Send me a voice now when you're driving away from the studio. I'm just after thinking of it now. It's like shower thoughts. It's like if you have an argument with someone, then like 2 days later in the shower, you're like, how do I meet that fucker again and have a fight with
you
him?
with the name of your show. You were saying you thought of a better one afterwards.
Yeah, I did. I can't remember. I was in London and then I saw something. I was like, oh fuck, that'd be deadly. And then it's hard. Like it's like you just. Like you're trying to do something different every year. That's why Edinburgh's so important though, because I'd never be able to turn over a new hour if I didn't have the pressure of Edinburgh. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
and like I've already sold like over 100 tickets for a show that I haven't written yet. I don't think I've had a single show in Edinburgh. This will be my 14th year doing the Fringe.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had one show where someone isn't in the audience that hadn't seen me before. Do you get what I mean? Like they've seen me either at a
and
club
they keep coming back to you.
Yeah, so you get like people who are, but they might not have even been at the Fringe before. They might have seen you at like Electric Picnic. They might have seen you at a club. But like I couldn't look someone in the face who's paid for a ticket and do some fucking material that I've done from 3-4 years ago. You can't do that, man. It's not fair. No. So you got to turn up. Like if they've turned up, you've to turn up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just sorry,
go on.
Out of interest, when you say you're writing a show, You don't write it like a script, do you? Or do you do a draft like that? Because I'm just wondering for people.
I have a whiteboard, right, and then everyone has their own system. But if I'm doing a work in progress, I get an A4 pad or whatever, and I write maybe say 10 to 12 bullet points. So it could be whatever, like, you know what I mean? It could be like traveling, blah blah blah, like Switzerland. You do all these different bits, and then off each bit that might represent a 3-minute bit, 4-minute bit, and then I try and just stick to that order, and then I'll forget one, or I'll fuck a bit up, or I'll do whatever, and then again you just say it out loud, and then that little list then gets shorter and shorter the more you remember.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
You don't need
so then like if you do it a few times, then you're like, so my current show, I have like 3 or 4 words, and I go, right, I've got this bit about the cards.
That must be a quick show.
Yeah. But it might, like, I have to say these 3 words to myself before I do a show, because otherwise I forget the order. Right. So I go like, the current show will be like guards, scam, revenge, and I have to say them and go and make sure I do that in that order, because if I don't do the first bit, the rest of the show won't make sense.
Yeah.
But everyone has their own way of doing everything. But just whatever works for you. There's no right or wrong.
If you were to write it all down, how many pages would you say it would be?
They reckon there's about 10,000 words in an hour show.
10,000 words, man.
You don't even know.
And you're doing an hour and a half.
You don't even know 10,000 words. Is, and.
A plus.
Spit on it. Fucking hell. That's what come to the end. And Danny, what story of your new show in Whelan's? Do you want to talk about that?
So the show that's on the ponchos that I gave you boys, it's I'm filming the Kilimanjaro show. So if anyone wants to see it for the last time, it's been filmed in Whelan's. It's one of my favourite rooms in the whole world. I love it. Filmed the last special there, Sweet Child O'Brien. It's going to be packed, it's going to be sweaty, and it's going to be the crack. I've got a special guest from Cork. I've got the biggest surprise I've had on any of these tour dates, and I don't want to say anything about it, but if you go to the show, you're going to see something that you'll never see at a show ever, and it may or may not involve the guards, right? That's all I'll say about it, right?
What day is it?
It's the 25th of June. It's a Wednesday. It won't be a late one. It'll be an 8 to 10 show, but there is an option of coming to a lock-in afterwards.
Is there? Where's the lock-in?
Code word is spit on it.
That was me
the 2 boys would just be there in the nip with 2 ponchos. Yeah, we're on the guest list. We're on the guest list.
Danny just looks down, don't know them.
They're bad, man.
Where can people see you during the week?
I'm in the Comedy Crunch every Sunday, Monday. If you give me a follow on Instagram at DOB Comedy, I put up all my gigs on there, and on my website, all the tour shows, Edinburgh festivals, all that kind of stuff is all on the website, which is DannyO'BrienComedy.com.
That's unwritten, man. By the way, I just need to say this before we go as well. It sounds like you don't stop.
No, I need to take a holiday.
The one thing I got
if I buy a gaff in Spain, we're all going on holiday.
The
one thing I got from you there is, Jesus Christ, I've never met you, like, but obviously know people come to Havin, they say you work hard, but fuck me, man. Not literally. But fuck, don't spill me.
Maybe you want.
But that you don't stop. That's unbelievable, man.
Yeah, but like, listen, that's
inspiring. Like.
That's not good either, lads. You have to work to a certain point, but you have to also enjoy your life.
Yeah.
So it's not about, we're in this stage now. We're all about the hustle and the grind and getting after it. That's great, but you also need to enjoy your life, because you only get one go around the clock, you know what I mean? I do think work hard, but take some fucking time out and enjoy yourself as well, and enjoy comedy if you're doing it. Do you get what I mean? You should be doing comedy because you love it, not because you're trying to get to here or here. The more you love it, I think the better that it comes out on stage, you know?
Yeah. Danny, I'd love to have you back, by the way.
Absolutely, lads, anytime.
I have loads of things I didn't even touch on, like...
Don't worry, anytime. I'll bring me little cup poncho and everything we say.
25th, Whelan's. See you there. That it? That's so quiet. I thought you were going to say something. You saw something.
I don't know. You were doing a little outro.
Yeah,
I still can't find that red nut thing.
That's it.
There's just one ball on a table. Just out of shot here. Lads, I found it.
Oh, man. That's fucking deadly, man. Thank you.